Welcome to the Occupational Safety Leadership Podcast, episode number 79. In this one, we're going to talk about the operations phase of ISO, operations section of ISO 45001. Let's just dive right in. So, for those who are just tuning in as part of this whole section, let's just do a little overview of ISO 45001. So it's a international standard that sets out the requirements for effective occupational health and safety management system based off the Plan, Do, Check Act. And anybody who has ISO 14001, 9001, it follows a lot of the same exact principles. They just focus on occupational health and safety as opposed to quality or environmental. So Section 8, as part of the operations section, this is where we're going to sit down and look at how we're going to identify the risks and then how that we're going to implement controls and measures to manage those risks. It's a very broad overview. I wish that I could say that we're always going to use engineering controls. Those are always the preferred avenue to go ahead and reduce accidents and injuries. But we know that at times we do have to use the admin controls. And then finally, absolute last case, when we can't engineer things out, we do have to look at PPE then as a way of bringing down that level of risk for that hazard to make it acceptable then for the company to go forward, which of course are a lot of weasel words for we all kind of have a different definition of what we're going to tolerate and call safe. Of course, as a safety professional, mine is a whole lot higher than others in a organization. But a lot of times it really has to be driven by management that says this is and this is not acceptable for when we look at a hazard and a risk and then reduce it down to a certain level then. So let's go on here then. Part of this, of course, is that we have to look at resources, roles, responsibilities, authority. I'd like to say that everybody has the authority, that when you're doing something and you discover unsafe action that you can stop, but there are times that people want to see that in writing as opposed to just, this is just how we operate. When you find something bad, you don't proceed forward. We're also going to look at the competence and awareness and how do we communicate these different specifications, standards. It's hard to convey attitude. So many times the workers are looking at management. Management is looking at the workers, and this is how we communicate is by our actions, not just by words and things on paper. And then when nobody is looking, we do things unsafe anyway then. So that's all part of documented info. That we also want to look at emergency preparedness and response. The best thing that we can do is not have an accident, of course, but if we do have an accident, how do we take care of our people as quick as we possibly can? There could be a chemical spill. How do we address this? If you're working in a remote area, you probably need to have the people who not only have the that basic life-saving skill, but have the equipment handy and any first aid kits and all that stuff, as opposed to, well, we're just going to drive the 30 miles back to the nearest hospital then, and those guys can tackle all of us know that time is always of the essence when somebody is hurt. That is it for episode 79, short and sweet. The big thing to take away from this is that we're going to look at how we identified the risks, and then of course we're going to go back and look at how that we're going to engineer these things out. In a perfect world, there are certain activities that we do out there that we literally cannot engineer 100% safe, and that's when we're going to look at a lot of additional controls to really make things safe and make things better for the workforce out there. So episode 79 is complete. My name is Dr. David Ayers. Thank you for joining me, and have a safe day.